Hey everybody, it's old Watachi. Um, really didn't have anything to do a video on. Had something happen a couple of nights ago, uh, and hadn't really even thought about doing any videos. Um, I'm sitting out here this morning, Sunday, was thinking about doing a quick one with church with Watachi, and didn't really have that in me right now. My power steering unit blew out on my Jeep yesterday, so I got to tear that thing off this morning and get another one on there. I didn't even. I've been thinking here lately. I was just going to maybe just stop doing videos. Uh, it's gotten to the point now. YouTube is blocking me from me. Be honest with you, I got 5 channels. I'm subbed to every one of my channels from my other channels, and they're blocking me, my channels from each other. Even I mean, that's how bad it's gotten. I got one channel that I at least got my 4 subs, my four other channels sub to it, and they claim I have either 0 subs or 2 subs. I go back and check my other channels, and sure enough, they're marked. Their bells are rung and everything for all notifications and everything. They won't even show my channels to me. So that means I get roughly a handful of people to even watch them. So they're not allowing me to be seen. I don't even know uh, if the people that are actually watching my videos are getting notified, because I drop my, in order to even try to get views, I drop my videos on other people's larger channels in comments or whatever. And it used to work back when I had my other channel. Shit, I could turn a nothing or a video that I wasn't getting very many views on. I could drop it on some other channels, and these channels known I've been doing this for years, and it's usually the same channels all the time, same big channels. I'll just go in and drop them on all of them in a comment or something. Comment might not even make sense, just to get people to watch my video, but it used to help, but it don't even do no good today, or at least I'm not seeing it on my end. If anybody else is, now by taking and dropping in somebody's comment, usually the people that I've dropped it in their comment will see it. Maybe if they're interested. I don't even know if they watch my shit. To be honest with you, uh, they don't say one way or another. These big channels are scared to death of Watachi. Man, he's a channel killer. Um, it's kind of funny, but I have. I mean, they can't. I can't deny it. I've had channels taken down. Not only mine that I've had people that invited me to come to their channel and do a show with them, and I told them before. I said, "Man, I'm gonna tell you right now. If I do this, it's gonna cause you a lot of problems." And those people lost their channels um, and everything. Man, it pissed them off at me too. I warned them up front, but and I understand it. See, these people, they don't, or you guys don't understand how long I've been fighting this shit. You don't understand how high I've went. I promise you, when Obama was in office, everybody in that White House knew who Watachi was and who I was, because I was writing them letters in my own name, my real name, social security numbers, everything on it. I wasn't hiding from them. The IRS, somebody else, I fought like hell. Fought them so much they just left me alone. I fought all these government offices, folks. I haven't just been online. I started fighting these government offices, courthouses. And there's a lot of places that when I first started that, they still had a little bit of morals to them. They had some feeling that the Constitution existed in them. When they took that oath, they meant it to a certain point anyway. You could walk into a courtroom or one of these government offices with a law in your hand, state, here's the law, this is what the law says, now what are you going to do about it? And they, if you pushed them to it, they'd straighten it, they'd fix it or do something about it. Today, it ain't that way, folks. There is no justice in America, and I proved that in this Boardman Township, Ohio, this year. Well, it started, was it just this year? I've been fighting this damn Boardman Township for 2.5 years. And it ended up in a court case in a corrupted ass courtroom over here called Mahoney County Courtroom Number 2, criminal courtroom. And I had so many videos. These people were, I'm not even going into that. That's a whole nother ball game, and I've gotten over that, and I'm past it. But the reason why all this happened, people, I'm here to witness what they have done and what they do in this town as a witness. And the people in this town who carried this out. I'm a witness for all these people. And rest assured on that. There was a guy, and I tell you people, I've been protected all my life by Jesus. And I never even knew it till a few years ago. And there's some things that why they happened in my life, but the way they did. And this one guy, man, it totally flipped me out when this happened. But this man, when I was a kid, he was a stepfather to one of my friends. And he was a large, very big man, not fat. He was a very big man, and he owned he laid brick. He owned the business. He laid brick and block, and he built buildings out of bricks and blocks and shit. And he was a very strong man, big man, mean-looking man. But when I was a kid, we was over at I was at my friend's house, and me and my buddy, I think we weren't even teenagers. We were probably about 11 or 12. And my buddy's sister was out in the backyard with us, and she was probably about 5, maybe 4 or 5. Maybe younger than that, I don't know. And she was a little girl, but I can't remember at what age. But anyway, we were right back there fucking around, and I used that word. And this man, now I knew him, I didn't know him real well. Like I said, he was the stepdad to a friend of mine, but he was the father of this little girl. It was her real father, my friend's sister. And this man heard me use that word out there while his daughter was out there. And he calls me over to the screen door. Now, the screen door, I couldn't really see through it. It was that screen that you couldn't see through it, but you knew somebody was on the other side because you could hear them, And that big man calls me over. He goes, "Hey, Brian, come here." I go, "All right." And I run over. I said, "Yeah." His name was Bill. "Well, what's up, Bill?" And he goes, "Hey, if I hear you use that word in front of my daughter again, I'm going to squish your head like a bug." I said, "No problem." I said, "You won't hear that out of me no more." Not around that little girl. He never did either. Now, I tell you this because this was in a town that I grew up in. Well, when I graduated high school, went into the Army, got out of the Army, I left this town and moved to Florida, and then ended up moving to Arizona and raised my kids out in Arizona. And but we ended up moving back to Indiana, or I moved my family from Arizona, ended up back in Greenwood, Indiana, and I run into this guy. His name's Bill. It's like 25 years later. Now, this man ain't as big as I thought he was back then. As a matter of fact, we were standing pretty close to eye to eye now. And, but this man, he was still rock hard bricklayer. He's still mean looking as hell. I still wouldn't have messed with him. He also run a lot of heavy equipment and shit, too. And, after 25 years, I run into this guy, meet him again. Even went to his son's house for Christmas. He was there, all this stuff. And I think it was about 2 years after I met up with him again, this man's on a job site using a front end loader. And he put the he had the bucket up in the air. And this man run front end loaders and heavy equipment all of his life. He knew not to do this. He knew not to do this. Why he did it on that day, nobody knows. But with that bucket up in the air, something happened. The man left the bucket up in the air. He jumped out of the front end loader, got in between the bucket and the front end loader, or the bucket and the ground or something. I think it was the bucket and the front end loader. He got in between them. That bucket came down, squished his head like a bug against that front end loader. That's how that man died. He'd been around that stuff for years. He knew better than to do that. Why did that happen? And why is it happened at a time that I would have known about it? It kind of blew my mind. Because I even told his son, or my friend, it wasn't maybe 10 or 11 months before that, I looked at my buddy, and it was his stepdad. And I said, man, you remember when old Bill, we were out on your back porch, and I asked him if he remembered that happened, and he goes, no, I don't remember that happening. I said, man, it did. It happened. And sure enough, that's how that guy died. He got his head squished like a bug. I don't know why I was telling that, but I just had to tell that. There was no logic to this video, folks. I wasn't even planning on doing one. But I've also there was other times that I was protected, man. That's the only way I can say it, because I've done things that other people have died many times from it. Being up on mountains, being in caves, being in old mine shafts that I've been through, running into mountain lions inside mine shafts, running into bats and all kinds of animals in caves, and not to count the drinking and the drugs I was doing, folks. Hell, I was trying to kill myself for years. I didn't have the balls to put the gun in my mouth and pull the trigger, but I had the gun in my mouth a few times. And it's because of my childhood, and what I went through, and I thought I had it bad, man. When I was a kid, because there wasn't nobody around my neighborhood or in my town that I thought had it as bad as I had it. And I was wrong, because there was people being sexually abused and shit. I wasn't sexually abused. But I was protected. I was being trained from about at 7 years old on how to hurt a man, a full grown man. I wasn't given any choices. It was my dad would come at me and I had to learn to either defend myself or take a beating. The first, I couldn't fight him back. He was way too big. So I had to learn how to cause him to hurt himself. And I swear, people, this was training. It was like every day. He kept throwing punches, kicks. He would swing lamps, guitars, anything he could get in his hands, throw shit across the room. It didn't matter. I had to learn how to defend myself from that shit. And shutting my mouth was not an option. I was not smart enough to shut my mouth. I even got to the point he didn't even realize he was buying the things I would use to protect myself with. Like, I used to want these Colorado mountain climbing boots is what they were. They looked like a mountain climbing boot, but they were called Colorados back then. They were real popular. Outside winter boots. Or not winter. You could wear them anytime, but they were good for the winter. But I wore them damn things all the time for a reason. My dad taught me with the boots that he wore because he was in the union. He was a union painter, and them damn shoes they wore, boy, that was a hell of a weapon. You could kick shit out of somebody with a good pair of boots on. I learned that the hard way. Now, once I got these boots, I still wasn't kicking his ass with them. There wasn't no way. But see, when he would throw a kick at me now, I had a weapon to block with that would hurt if you kicked him. And he would kick at me and I would raise my boot up high enough to catch him in the ankle as he's swinging his leg, or catch him in the right below the knee or something. And he'd kick at me and he'd crack that boot and hurt himself. Well, that pissed him off. So I had to learn a different shot. He would do a kick, and if he got hurt kicking me, he'd come around with a swing, punch to the face. Well, I learned to be able to throw my elbows up and use them to block like this and shit. And he would swing around, and I'd catch him in the wrist or something like that with my elbow, and man, it would fuck his wrist up. These are how I had to learn to defend myself, to keep from getting another black eye or busted head or being knocked off my feet. I ain't proud of none of it, folks. I just had to learn it. It was a training I was forced to go through. Didn't even know I was supposed to. Now, on my on the day I had to go have my wisdom teeth taken out, I wasn't. In my house, you didn't have your shoes on laying on the couch, or in my dad's house. Well, my mom took me down. My dad, I don't know, it was like my mom took me at like 2 o'clock or something to go get them cut out. They had to put me under, cut them out. My mom brings me home. Now, I'm still out. When they put me in the car, I'm kind of awake, but I'm not. My mom takes me to the house. She lays me on the couch, says, listen, I'm going to run up here and get the pain pills and the stuff you're going to need. I'll be right back. I was out. My dad come in. I'm laying on the couch with my shoes on, asleep. He thinks I'm asleep. I'm out because of this drugs. He whips off his belt. What just starts wailing on me, head to toe. Now, he probably hit me 3 or 4 times before I come to. And I realize what's going on. I jump up. I jerk. He's drunk. He come in drunk. I jump up and jerk that belt out of his hand. I roll it up on my hand. So now, when you learn how to use it right, I'll give it back to you. I took it and hit it. So he couldn't beat me with it no more. Now, my mom, she wasn't going to go buy another one. She kept telling me. I kept it hid for 2 or 3 days. She finally told me, will you give his belt back to him? He needs his belt. I said, listen, I'll give it back to him. If he ever hits me with it again, I'm going to wear it out on him. He never hit me again with the belt. But it wasn't long after that he decided he was going to knock my mom around a little bit. That was my last straw. By the time the cops got there, I had him in a headlock with his face smashed up against the wall on top of him. Cops come in, now I had a lot more hair than I got now. They grabbed me by the hair, picked me up off the ground. I still got my dad in the headlock. So they picked me and my dad's weight up off the ground by my hair. Fuck stand me up. Fucking I dropped my dad. They fucking grabbed me and fucking pushed me over to the side, and they go, hey, you can't be doing this. This is his house. This is your time. I said, man, if he puts his hands on my mother again, I'm going to do it again. These guys told me I could. They're lucky I didn't go to jail. They took my dad to the hospital. He had 3 broken ribs and 1 punctured lung. I put his rib clear through his damn lung. Needless to say, he almost died that night because he got pneumonia in his lung. He almost died. My mom told me before she went back up there to the hospital, if that man dies tonight, I'll never let you live it down. Out of everything he done to me, and I was protecting her. Well, he didn't die, of course. He didn't die until last year. But he never put his hand on me again. Now, this training that I went through all them years, I used for many years. I hurt people. It wasn't people like what you think. People that needed to be hurt. People, I don't do that shit anymore. I gave all that shit up. But I've always known from my heart and lung problems, I don't know if you guys believe I have them or not. Some people think I'm fucking lying about all that. Well, I wish you could have been here 2 nights ago at my house. Because I went through about 6 hours reminded. Now, I'm telling you, I haven't had, my heart's been feeling great. I've been feeling like, man, shit. I guess Jesus took care of that completely, because they cut me off all my heart medication at the beginning of this year. I ain't had none. My heart's been feeling great. Hadn't had no problems with my Wolff-Parkinson's-White syndrome or nothing. You know, it's like I'm being reminded night before last. I went through about 5 hours. I couldn't get no sleep. My heart, it just out of the blue, just boom, it jumps up to 100. This night, it used to jump up to 256 beats per minute. Years ago, and they would have to. Twice they've hit me with defibrillators to stop my heart and then restart it. Second time they blistered me because they couldn't get it restarted. They finally did. But I went through 5 hours of this thing kicking. And I gotta say this too. It used to be all my life I've had to deal with this shit, and I usually can control it. I can make it stop when it starts. I can do things to make it stop. Well, the reason I went through the surgery is I couldn't get it to stop anymore when I got around 40. I couldn't get it to quit. Well, now the other night I can get it to stop, but the other night, as quick as I could get it to stop, it was kicking right back up again. So I went through 5 hours of my heart boom being at normal rate to boom at 191 because I put one of them things on my finger that gives you the oxygen intake or your oxygen, blood oxygen, and it gives you the heart rate. So I know it wasn't going up. It was going right to 191. Every time it jumped up, boom, 191. And it's pounding like I'm running a damn marathon. I do the things that I can do, like take deep breaths, hold my breath and shit, and I can get it to quit. Boom, start right back up. I didn't think I was going to make it through the night, folks, because it was starting to hurt after 5 hours. I did not tell my wife or my daughter that live in my house. Like, they have been sick from the flu. They claim they got, or they don't claim it, they were made to be tested by their jobs, and they claim they got COVID. Now, I've been living with them through all of it. This is the 9th day of my wife being, after she got found out that she had COVID. This is the 9th day. Tomorrow is the 10th day. And she can't go back to work until after that. Well, she can't go back anyway. She's still not feeling good. I'm not sure about my daughter. I haven't seen her today. But they've been sick, and I know they would have pushed me to go to the hospital the other night, and there ain't no way. There ain't a hospital I would go to. Not today. And I didn't want to have to fight them over that. But I told them the next day I thought she was going to get up and find my body. Now, I think that was just a reminder from Jesus saying, hey, this still isn't over. I know my time is short on this earth, and I know what's going to kill me. It's going to be my lungs or my heart. And I thought my heart was doing all right, but evidently it's not. So for you guys that think I do this stuff for money, views, subs, I do this for you guys. I do this for a couple other people too, so that they might see these videos. If I do get taken, or if I don't wake up, or if I'm sitting right here, I might die doing one of these videos right here. I could very well. But I'm not fearing it. I'm not fearing it. I've got what time I've got. You got what time you got. I think I've done what I can do for me. Now I'm just trying to do for you guys, or help. And I am a witness for some people. I am a witness for them on what their actions are and what they're doing. That is my only job. I can't do nothing else. They won't let me. People, these nurses yesterday, I seen them on some video. Nurses and doctors being fired because they refuse to take the you know what. During the time that they claim is a pandemic, the worst pandemic ever on earth, they're firing nurses and doctors for not taking the you know what. Those aren't, and they're not only firing them, that's ruining their careers. Because you can rest assured they won't be able to go anywhere else and work. And I seen this little nurse. She was crying. She probably was somewhere in her early 20s, late 20s at the most. She's bawling. And she's saying, well, I guess Jesus will forgive me for doing what I'm going to do. But I got to do it for my job. And she's bawling about it. You think Satan was going to do it any other way, little girl? Do you think Satan was going to do it any other way? All he needs is your consent. Once you give him your consent, once you say, go ahead, Satan, do it. I'm with you, Satan. Jesus ain't going to forget that. God is not going to forget that. If you read that Bible that you seem to act like you believe in, it states it right in there. If you're giving evil consent, you're going to get evil back. That's all you're going to get. And it talks about the end of times and the mark of the beast. And if you receive the mark of the beast, you will not be allowed into heaven. Do you think you're going to get to say, all right, I'll take the mark of the beast because I need it for my job, and Jesus will forgive me for it? No, because it says right in the Bible, you will not be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. If you accept the mark of the beast, he's not going to forgive you for it, little girl. And if you have any questions about that, you better get in your Bible. You better talk to somebody who can tell you. Satan isn't going to do it any other way. He's got to have your consent. In order to get your soul, he's got to have your consent. If he didn't need your consent, he could just tell you anything. He could just do what he wants. But he's got to have your consent. Just like all these evil clowns in Washington, D.C., they get your consent every time you vote for them. You give evil consent. That's all you're going to get out of them. People, if Jesus can do what he's done for me, I used to carry guns everywhere I went. In my cars, on my hips, in my semis. Everywhere I went, I carried a gun. Now, I have guns, but I don't carry them. I don't see no use in it. I'm not going to let morons make me shoot them. Now, they come to my house, and that's a whole nother ballgame. I will leave the area before I have to fucking shoot somebody. Especially over ignorant shit. Your car isn't worth killing somebody over. Your wallet isn't worth killing somebody over. If they're trying to kill you, that's when it's time to kill them back. I can outdrive most of these clowns around here. I don't have to stand there and put up with them. And I can damn sure go a lot further than they can in my Jeep than they can go in any car. They better have something similar to what I got, because I can go a lot further than they can. If Jesus can change me, folks, I've known people that, I don't know how many people they've murdered. And I've known them. I hated to even be around them because I could see it in their eyes. Couldn't do nothing about it. Because the authorities ain't going to do nothing about it, not down in Mexico. And the people I've known up here in America with a K, they're even worse. And they're the authorities. That's what makes them worse. They're not the drug dealers. They're not the rapists out here, the muggers and shit on the. They're running the show. And you're following them around like a little puppy dog. Well, people, I figured this long enough. Never know if I'll be here tomorrow, so you guys have a good day. I pray for y'all to find Jesus. I pray for y'all, man. And those that are already found him, I pray that he wraps us all in the full armor of God every morning and every night and protect us from all the evil around us. That's all I got. I don't have no money. I don't have nothing left. They've taken it. I will die a broke man. Nope. I own that Jeep right there. That's it. And all the tools and shit you see around here. And they got a damn lien on that Jeep. Indiana Department of Revenue has a lien on that Jeep right there. So I don't even own it. They can't take anything other than my life. That's all that's left. And it ain't worth much. Not on earth. My soul's worth everything. You guys have a good day. Love you. Till next time. Oh, make no mistake, God loves you and so do I. Sorry, guys, I don't want to ever end without this. And make no mistake, the only way out of this is through Jesus Christ. Love you guys. Till the next one, maybe.